Patreons. This is what you're paying for. This is why you paid $1,000 to join this.
Since when do we have a
Patreon?
Patreon?
You can see this.
Welcome to the Patreon that we don't have. Do you guys want to see the Bench to Mike have a Patreon? Let us know in the comments. I guess you wonder where I've been. That was kind of low.
Baby, turn them lights down low.
Baby, light them door and turn the lights down low.
Word.
Here to stay
Is the new word.
I thought it was the new word.
Is it new word or new bird?
I'm sure it's new bird the first time, new word the second time. Oh, man. And pretend that he is Parson Brown.
It's Barson Brown.
It's Parson Brown.
No, it ain't.
We'll conspire
As we dream by the fire.
by the fire.
Blue Christmas without you.
Oh my
Right down Santa Claus Lane. It's a raining. What was that one Will Smith movie or Will Ferrell movie? Welcome to the Best Italian.
Welcome back to the Bench to Mike podcast. I'm Caleb Foltz, also known as CF3, and you are
I'm Chris Cortez, also known as Chris Cortez.
CC50. So we literally just got back wearing the same clothes. If you guys watched the vlog, that was posted on Monday or Tuesday. I'm not sure when it's getting posted, but this video is getting posted on Saturday. Hopefully, Caleb, please do your job editing, Caleb.
Do your job editing, Caleb.
Do your job editing, Caleb. But yes, we just got back from the Michigan Panthers game. They played the Arlington Renegades. Arlington Renegades were 0-5 going into that game, and the Michigan Panthers 3-2. So I believe the Arlington Renegades, they are in the XFL conference, and then the Michigan Panthers in the USFL conference.
Yes.
So Michigan Panthers were second in the conference, and the Arlington Renegades are dead last in their conference.
I think they're the only winless team in the whole league, too.
I believe that is the case. So
Sure didn't play like it.
yeah, they did not, and the Michigan Panthers did not play like the second best team in their conference at all.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. So, we don't really have a format for today. We're kind of just going to dive into it, but what a great game. And shout out to the city of Detroit, man. We have a great time in Detroit. We were kind of joking around saying, like, Detroit's kind of our home city for games because we've gone there 3 times now for games.
This has been our 3rd time. Quick Lane Bowl, Detroit Pistons. Now we got Michigan Panthers. Only thing that's left, Detroit Lions.
And we
Then
don't
we'll have the grand trifecta of the Ford Field
and
experience.
we don't regret it. Like, it's such a good time going to Detroit.
It is every time. And no matter what, no matter who it is, it's always a great time.
We gotta love it. You gotta love it so much. Me and Chris, we don't really have a certain team, or we're not really a fan of a certain team. We just kind of say Michigan Panthers because they're the closest in proximity.
We just love the game. It's for the love of the game.
Like last summer, me and Chris always talked about was DC Defenders. I mean, that was kind of the team we talked about because they have a great fan base. But like I like St. Louis Battlehawks because they have A.J. McCarron. I was a big fan of A.J. McCarron when he was at Alabama, and then also he was a lifelong backup I shouldn't say lifelong, but career-long backup for the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that was always something I still watch. I mean, they're 5-1 in the XFL conference. They're the number 1 team in the XFL conference.
It's crazy. Good for him.
But, yeah, Birmingham Stallions lead the USFL conference 6-0, and the Michigan Panthers are 3-2.
6-0. Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Didn't know there was still a team unbeaten.
Crazy. So, obviously, the Michigan Panthers are 4-2 after this big win, and that's what I guess we're spoiling for you guys. The Michigan Panthers won, what was it, 27-25?
28-27, I believe.
28-27, that's what it was. 28-27 on a game-winning field goal.
By the greatest kicker in the history of the game of football.
Jelly roll.
Jelly roll.
Jelly roll the kicker.
I didn't know that's what they would call him.
Yep.
I'm just going by word of mouth.
That's
from him.
what they called him when he did the interview with that news lady down the field. So I just overheard it during our post-conference interview in the vlogs. Go check it out if you guys haven't already. But yeah, great game, great atmosphere. I mean, I think there was more fans than we expected, right, Chris?
Yeah, and you know what? The Michigan Panthers, after today, I look at them as a team that the entire state of Michigan can agree on because There's like multiple college football teams, so Michigan's as a state's divided on that. Football wise, yes, there's the Lions, which is their only NFL team, but you got the Upper Peninsula right there, and some of those, the stereotype is they're Packer fans because they're closer to Wisconsin. But the Michigan Panthers, they're different. It's like they unite the state of Michigan, and I really felt that today because I saw people wearing Detroit Tigers, like that's their baseball team. I saw people wearing Pistons, Detroit Red Wings, Michigan State. We saw an NMU shirt.
So NMU,
Yeah,
we saw
Northern
Michigan. I saw
Michigan.
Eastern Michigan hat.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan hat. It's like the whole state of Michigan really rallies behind this team. Like this, they are proud. They are very confident and proud that this is their team.
I think the only reason for that is because like there's so many different Michigan teams in the fall, but there's only one Michigan team in the spring.
Exactly.
So like it helps them unite just as one.
Yeah, and that was really cool to see.
And there was actually I'm not gonna shout out the high school, but there was a kid that was it's a high school. It's about 45 minutes from us that we saw, and so there's a couple of Ohio fans there as well. You know, that's kind of cool to see more Ohioans root for the Michigan Panthers. You know, there's a big rivalry between Ohio and Michigan, so it even unites rivals in a way.
It does.
I just want to say too, I just found this on the website, UFL's website. Michigan Panthers are ranked 4th in the league. I'm not sure after today. This isn't updated for today's wins because obviously there's like a couple more games playing right now as we're doing this podcast because there's also some evening games.
Mm-hmm.
But according to last week's standings, they're 4th in the conference. Like I said, not sure after today's win, but they are 4-2. Hopefully they have a good run in the playoffs. We'll definitely be keeping our eye on them.
Not sure how the playoff system works. I don't know how many teams make it. Is it just the top 4 teams? Then they play in a semifinals?
You know what? That's a great question. I can look it up right now if you'd like. UFL playoffs.
Because if that's the case, I'm assuming like right now right now as of the recording of this video, they're currently in the picture, I would assume.
Yeah. You know, also, by the way, speaking of the fan interaction and the fans, we also got to interview some fans for the vlog. That was great. Shout out Chris for his great interview skills. But also, on our way back from the stadium, we got to see an older gentleman wear a USFL jersey from 1993, but it was Michigan Panthers. And Chris, I saw this jersey, like, this jersey looks faded. And Chris like, nah, that's just an old jersey from way back when they first started as an organization. I'm like, that's cool.
I could be wrong, but it had a patch on it. And the year was, I believe it was 1993. And it was a patch with the championship game on it. The 1993 USFL championship or whatever the league was called back then. So that was really awesome to see that he was able to dig this old jersey up and finally wear it to a game.
Yeah, I'm just happy that these programs are coming back. You know, I'm really happy that spring football's finally having some success after, since 2020 they've been just struggling to keep any sort of league alive. By the way, for the playoffs, it's the top 2 teams of each conference going at it, and then they'll play in a championship. So it's 4 teams.
So right now they would be in the playoffs because they're second in their division.
Yes,
okay.
Correct. So they have a chance. They do have a chance, but they are ranked 4th in the league, so not very high hopes. But we're rooting for them.
Yeah, you never know.
So
I feel like after today, it showed there's a serious parity in this league.
There definitely is, and because there was a stereotype last year that the USFL was just terrible and the XFL was on top, and fans and like net worth and money, player talent, but especially the player talent. That was a huge thing. The USFL was just not nearly as talented as the XFL, and clearly something's going on. Michigan Panthers against Arlington Renegades. Something's going on. Now we can argue that Arlington Renegades, they won the championship last year, but I don't think they have a single returning player that was on that championship team. I believe.
I think that's what you pointed out at the game today.
I don't think there's
not a single returning player from.
Yeah, everybody that was on that team was either in the NFL or a different thing, doing different things.
Same coach though. Bob Stoops was still on the sideline though.
I feel like I feel like Chris, you feel like you can just take a break from our job and this podcast just because it's Cinco de Mayo, and it's kind of making me really mad. Shout out to Cinco de Mayo celebrators though. Everybody that's celebrating this holiday. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, happy Cinco de Mayo. As of the recording, it is currently 6:52, May the 5th. So
I feel like a lot of Cinco de Mayo celebrations would be getting started like right now in the evening. Would it not be?
Maybe. I know next to nothing about celebrating this holiday.
Oh, my fault. I thought it was your culture. But yeah, guys, very exciting stuff. Let's get into. So we talked about the fans. Ford Field. What do we think of Ford Field, Chris?
Once again, it, I really do love Ford Field because I think it encompasses the city of Detroit perfectly in that little building. It seats roughly over 65K, I believe. But you feel like you're in a giant automotive warehouse or like a giant automotive factory type building, and that's what Detroit is. They're huge in the automobile industry.
You were
and
dead
the
on.
skyline-
65,000.
Oh wow, nice. Well, because when you're walking into the stadium, you can see the GM General Motors. I think it's what it's called, General Motors headquarters, which that is on the other side of the city, but it's so big you can see it from the stadium. Which I think it perfectly encompasses the culture, the blue collarness, the hardworking culture of Detroit in that one little building.
That's what I love about the Lions head coach. As I brought up last time, we talked about this. Lions head coach loves the city of Detroit.
My only complaint is I wish the windows that when you're sitting on a sideline, if you look in one of the corners in the stadium, you can see a perfectly clear window that peers out into like a few buildings on the city. One thing I wish that they did was it was just clear clear windows all around the skylights of the stadium, rather than just like the tinted windows that kind of let some of the light from outside coming in. I think what's something we touched on during the game.
We did. And I think there's argument for you want if there's natural lighting, it would mess with the lights of the stadium because they are right next to each other. I'm not an architect, and neither is Chris. Chris is gonna be a science teacher. I'm trying to be a phys ed guy, so we both can't really speak on architecture. But we just talk about natural lighting because you still want that natural feeling of football because it is an indoor facility and it does add a difference. It is different, But I loved it. I love that weather because the weather is a factor in football you got to think about, and not at Ford Field. That factor's taken away. I do love though that you still even though there wasn't as many fans, they probably filled the first 5 rows.
I'd say so.
If
everyone kind of scrunched to the front.
Exactly, I'd say first 5 or 6 rows, but it echoes in there. The fans go crazy. You can hear everybody, and it's not quiet in any way. I mean, me and Chris, you can't. I bet there's some videos in that vlog that I posted that you can't really hear me and Chris very well because of how loud it is in there.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about the indoors. It echoes, voices echo, and it's a great thing.
It does.
Because when they said make some noise, what was hilarious too is when they wanted to kick the game-winning field goal, everyone was going shh, 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 and I was laughing at that. So, but nobody was being quiet because everybody's yelling shush. But whatever. Let's get into the food, Chris. We had some stadium food like we always do.
Yeah.
We did. Did we talk about the stadium food in the video? I don't think we rated it.
I think we. Yeah, no, I think we did.
Oh no, we did. The table. You're correct. For those who haven't watched the vlog.
Yeah, for those that are watching this before the vlog, I can't speak on all UFL games, but I can speak on the Michigan Panthers. Nothing is open. There's only Little Caesars, Big Boy, and maybe 1 or 2 more concessions open. Everything is closed.
Everything else is beer too. Everything else, they had 3 beers.
They had 3 things that served alcohol, but everything else was closed off. Upper decks closed. The end zones are closed. You cannot get any food other than what's the 2 or 3 little things that are open. So we decided, well, let's get Big Boy. Big Boy's Big Boy. Can't go wrong with a Big Boy. I personally like Big Boy. Some people don't, and that's fine. But this Big Boy, when it came out, when I opened my burger, I was like, man, it's not big. Because when you go to Big Boy at a Big Boy restaurant, they're pretty big burgers. This one, it was
a small boy.
It was kind of small, and we got the biggest one they had, which was the double decker Big Boy or whatever it was called. It had a Thousand Island sauce on it, not the typical Big Boy tartar sauce. So I was like, oh, so that's new.
Yeah.
Bit into it. The patty, it was kind of cold and kind of dry.
Lettuce was good.
The lettuce was fine. The bun was fine. The Thousand Island sauce was fine, but it tasted like a Big Mac. It tasted too much like a Big Mac. The fries were excellent, though.
The fries were good, but the patty for me, it was cold and it was kind of like biting into beef jerky, like a soft beef jerky.
Yep.
And it just disappointing. I mean, it's stadium food, so obviously preparing in that it might be sitting out a little bit, and we were the first ones there at that Big Boy. I'm sure they're preparing for a rush that never came.
Yep.
Now the first couple restaurants when you walk into the stadium, those were packed. But if you kept walking where we had to go for our seats, it was empty. There was it was vacant. Honestly, it felt like going to a high school game. If you go to a big high school game, that's kind of the way to describe the UFL.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good
Yeah.
point there.
I also had a vanilla milkshake, and you can't mess up ice cream.
He said
So
that was a 10. I never got I never tried it, so this is coming from him.
they gave me a straw though, so I'm gonna bump it down to a 9 because they gave me a super small straw to suck this thick milkshake through, and it was really making me mad when I was trying to just enjoy it. But also I asked for chocolate and they gave me vanilla, so whatever, you know.
Overall, it was fine. We survived.
Now I am mad because I got a burger that was small. I got a good sized cup of fries, and the milkshake was, it's probably a small anywhere else you go. But I paid $26 for the whole meal.
Yeesh.
Stadium food, man, runs to your pockets,
Yep.
and it's not good. I wish you could just bring
Everywhere
food.
you go.
I wish we could buy McDonald's and bring it in the stadium. It'd be so nice if we could do that. But
So definitely, if you're taking a trip to Ford Field, be sure if you're planning on eating at Ford Field, either A, eat before you go to a game so you don't spend as much, or B, bring like $40 just for food because you're gonna be spending a lot of money on food at Ford Field no matter what the event is.
oh Lord, yeah, you definitely are. You definitely are.
Yeah. Even the pizzas, I think at the Quick Lane Bowl, Elijah spent $10-15 on a slice of deep dish pizza.
Half a slice of deep dish pizza.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was wild. And it honestly, it comes close to how terrible Howie roll was. To be completely frank.
Yeah, that's a discussion we had. Was it this or the Howie roll? And personally, I think I enjoyed the Howie roll more than I did this burger. If I'm going to be honest, I'm not bashing on Big Boy in any way. Like I said, I like Big Boy burgers, but this one, oh my goodness, it just
Lord.
was not there.
Yeah, it was kind of rough. No lie. No lie.
But yeah, everything else was good. Shout out Alec that works in the department
yes.
for getting us sweets.
Absolutely.
Because we asking around, asked a lady for security. She led us to a desk where a man named Alec, very nice man. Hope you're doing well if you're watching this. You have our business card, so feel free to reach out. But he was willing to show us around the suites, and we got to see a suite, and we got to watch a play from a suite at an NFL stadium. I thought that was awesome, and like for me, it was just an aha moment. Like it sets the bar for where we want to be as a channel and as a brand.
Yeah, I would love to sit in a suite one day and do this and do our vlogs. Maybe even stay late and do a podcast in the suite. Like, it was super cool.
Yeah,
Alec was a great guy, and he was super kind to us, and we really appreciate the courtesy, the
absolute.
what words would you use?
The
Chris?
grace and the
Grace.
courtesy that he showed us.
Yeah, and even the manager that was super cool.
Oh,
The manager
yeah.
talked to us too.
Very, very kind people. Very great staff. Getting to the suites, and that it was like what you described it as a hotel, and I couldn't describe it any better than that. It was like checking into a hotel. It was just like a completely isolated section of the stadium. It was just you didn't feel like you were at Ford Field anymore.
Yeah, I felt like I was going to a hotel to go sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get into the game itself. So like we said, the final score was 28-27. And that I mean doesn't even serve the game. I mean, yes, close game, but like that score doesn't even serve the game justice. I mean, it was crazy.
It was a great game. Nobody ever really had it until I would say Arlington was up 24-26. That was 24-16. That was probably the biggest lead of the game, I'd say.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Other than that, it was within 3 points the entire game.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for the roster at the moment of that. I want to find that running back.
For Arlington,
Yes.
Davion Smith.
He is not on the roster. He is not there.
I'm on box score.
I'm on the UFL, and I cannot find him.
Oh, I'm on Fox.
Oh,
Sports.
it gave me the wrong team. So that's my fault. It's the wrong team. Sorry, we're stalling here a little bit, guys, but
not used to this. The stats, we couldn't find them on the usual stat box on ESPN, so I am currently on foxsports.com, so all the stats I will be talking about are per foxsports.com.
Yeah, so the game, the way we can describe the Michigan Panthers offense is run it 3 times, read option with the quarterback, or a dive with their running back, and then sling it for a deep ball on 3rd or 4th down. That's probably a good way to describe their offense. I would not say it's balanced. I would say it's run heavy, but they can sling it efficiently when they need to. You know.
Yeah.
Now, the Arlington Renegades was give the ball to Davion Smith from Michigan, out of Michigan. He wears number 2. He's 5'11", 223 pounds. He's from Warren, Ohio, though. Shout out.
Oh, he's an Ohio boy that went to Michigan.
He's 29 years old, though. That's kind of old for running back, but that was their offense. Give the ball to Davion Smith.
Well, their offensive line was tearing it up front against the Michigan
great
defensive
push.
line.
Great push, and that was what Chris pointed out. And we just knew that our high school line coach would be livid.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I just see this now. There on the Michigan Panthers, there's a guy from Mary Hardin Baylor on the team.
Shout out D3.
Shout out D3. But yeah, Slippery Rock too. There's D2. Shout out D2.
Yeah.
But the roster is very talented, very big boys down there. But the Michigan Panthers, they just look like they controlled the whole first half. I mean, the whole first half, they just looked like they were dominating. The score was like what, like 10-3.
Well, let's see here. Arlington was actually up 17-13 at halftime.
Well, okay, to be fair, that we missed like half the second quarter
because we were up in the suites.
We were up in the suites, and we were figuring that out. So we'll say the first quarter, because we really dived in the first quarter, and what was scored at the end of the first.
Yeah, it was 10-3 at the end of the first.
Okay.
Arlington was really taking it to, Michigan was really taking it to Arlington during that first quarter and through the first half of the second quarter. They were really taking it to them. Then when we stopped watching is when Arlington really started turning it on. But up until about midway, more than halfway through the second quarter, Arlington was running it down their throats. They were passing around. They were doing pretty much anything that they wanted to against Arlington.
Absolutely. And I know one of Michigan Panthers' really good defensive players is Nakua. I don't think there's any relation to Puka Nakua. It's Kai Nakua, number 21. He's 6'1", 205 out of BYU, free safety. He did not play his best game. I mean, the Renegades could not pass. And when they did, the ball was always short, and these receivers are diving for the ball, or it's like a short 5-yard. They completed so many 5-yard outs for first downs. They just could not stop the out routes. But Nakua, we didn't really hear his name called very much. I was expecting to hear him a lot because he's all over the Instagram page. I know he has tons of interceptions, and I know he's a really good ball player. And they kind of kept him quiet tonight. So shout out to the Renegades for doing that. But also, they were very run heavy. Like I said, the Renegades, they just gave the ball to Davion Smith every play.
Sims, it doesn't have his first name. M. Sims for the Panthers went for 4 receptions, 67 yards, 16.8 yards per catch.
Yeah, he's a dog.
He was the one that was he the one
it's
that
Marcus
you recorded?
Sims.
Marcus Sims. Was he the one that made the catch that you got to record? I don't know who made the catch.
I don't think that was him, but yeah, no, Marcus Sims is a dog. He's all over their Instagram page too. He's really good.
Yeah.
He's probably honestly their best receiver. But now the Michigan Panthers have tons of talent, and that quarterback, number 8, what's his name? Let's find out.
Etling. D. Etling. That's what I see.
D. Etling. Let's look for him. Danny Etling. He's 6'2", 222 at LSU, 29 years old. Dog. Danny Etling. He can run. He ran for 60-some yards? 60-yard run? That was crazy. He
actually led the Panthers in rushing today. He had 7 carries for 55 yards, averaging 7.9 yards a carry. This guy was an animal.
The Panthers did a really good job they ran the ball so much to the running back that every time that Etling wanted to do the read option and run, they never stopped it. They just couldn't stop him. I think every read option they did was successful. Every time that he kept the ball. I mean, he took it for a good 7-10 yards.
His longest carry of the day was 40. That was that one where he almost scored a touchdown.
Oh, it looked longer than 40, but yeah. It was crazy because, was that right after that bobbled? No, that wasn't. Was that right after the bobbled?
I think so.
The bobbled kick return? Mm-hmm. There was just so much tonight, guys.
You just got to watch the highlights. It was crazy.
Go watch the highlights on YouTube after this podcast. It was crazy. It was such a really good time. But yeah, and then the game at the end, it looked like the Renegades were going to pull away. The Renegades looked like they dominated the second half too. But then that last 8 minutes of the fourth, Panthers really just played a sound football game, sound football team, all 11 men doing their job. So the Renegades still had some success, and they had some successful help from the refs as well. But, man, you just got to watch those highlights, especially that fourth quarter. I mean, what a game. Mm-hmm. And shout out to that kicker. That kicker made so many field goals didn't even count because whether there was a flag or it was a penalty, it's a flag or penalty or maybe a timeout called. That kicker, J. Roll, heck of a ball player, heck of a kicker.
What's his name? Where's the kicking at?
Let's see. Punter's Brock Miller. He punted one time. He did a really good job.
Bates, Jay Bates.
Yep, Jelly Roll. Shout out Jay Bates. Is it Jake Bates? Sounds right.
He went 5 for 5 on field goals today. My goodness, I didn't even realize that they kicked 5 field goals
He's
today.
6'1", 204 from Arkansas. Well, he played at Arkansas, and he's 25 years old.
Yeah.
So
Hope he finds an NFL team that wants him.
Dude,
I'd have to imagine after the season's
has to.
over, he's going to.
the coolest thing though was seeing Marquette King suit up again.
Yes.
He's 6 foot 192, Fort Valley State. He's 35 years old, and this man is still getting pro opportunities. I remember watching him play for the Raiders back in 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
And I used to put him at quarterback in Madden in 2015. He was like a 73 overall punter, and he was so fun to use. And he has all that swagger, and we saw it tonight. I think he only punted once or twice, right?
He punted twice, which is crazy. It shows how efficient the offenses were, regardless if they had to kick it at the end or not for a field goal, because there was a total of 4 punts across both teams. Both teams punted twice. That was it.
The UFL is just different, man. I mean, it seems like a different game, honestly, because there's opportunities for more success.
Today it was, I'd say it was a really clean game, because there was, across both teams, there was one fumble. There was one fumble at the end of the game by, or near the end of the game by the Renegades.
Wow.
And I don't think there was any interceptions thrown today, was there? Not that I remember.
Okay, this is an Ohio thing, right? Sorry to interrupt you, Chris, but there was a player, Gunnar Oaks, for the Panthers. Gunnar Oaks, tight end, 6'4", 252. He played for Eastern Michigan. He's from Swanton, Ohio. Swanton, Ohio is
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's a bunch of woods next to Toledo. It's like I don't want to say the same size as where we're from, but Swanton, Ohio is. I actually have family up there, or former family, I guess I should say, and it's just a bunch of woods. So just wanted to shut that out. There's a guy. You guys think you're in the rough and you're in the ruck? This man grew up in the woods, went to Eastern Michigan, played D1 football, and now he's playing in the UFL. So I just want to say,
he's got a pro contract.
Pursue those glimpses of greatness, guys. One thing that really interested me too is that UFL players only make $50,000 a year.
That caught me off guard.
But they get $400 stipend, housing stipend every weekend, or something. I think that's kind of interesting. Like $50K is not a lot. But I mean, UFL is good enough for you to market yourself, though, for sure.
And it's NFL opportunities as well if you ball out.
Absolutely, man. I loved this game. It was a great game. Me and Chris, if you guys heard my score prediction in the vlog, I guess 30-0. I thought the Panthers were going to smack this team. I thought it wasn't going to be a good game. Me and Chris were entertained in every aspect of today, no matter what the category was of our stadium, food, fans, whatever. We had a great. This is probably one of our favorite games we've been to. Been a great
Absolutely is. If you guys haven't already, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Give the USFL, or excuse me, give the UFL a chance. Turn it on. Either turn it on if you don't have a hometown team, or if you don't live close to a team. If you live close to a team, highly recommend. Tickets were what, $30?
Yeah, totally worth
it. $30 off TickPick. Definitely use that as an app. I really like that app, by the way. But that's what they were on TickPick, $30 a piece. And they were the cheapest seats available. They sat us in the second row. So if you're somebody that really likes the second row or being close to the front, go to the UFL game, because those are super cheap. Yeah, super cheap. You're really gonna love it. Give it a chance. Give it a chance.
The fans that are there, they're devoted.
Oh,
I mean, they have some devoted fans.
People were dressed up.
Now it might just be Detroit, because Detroit's a great city and they love their sports. But
absolutely,
we saw. It's really even the older men that have been watching the UFL since the 90s, they love their football and they love their Michigan Panthers.
Every third down, it was getting loud. People were banging on the chairs.
It was so cool, and for how small the crowd was, it all, like I said, it felt like a big high school football game. It was really cool.
It was really awesome to see. Did you? Now I was thinking about asking you this, but I just forgot. It just came to me now. Is this what it's like at one of those arena indoor football games that you go to? Are people this crazy about, but the crowds are smaller like this, but they're still crazy about their team?
The number of fans is nowhere near, but now the crowd is a bunch of rednecks ready just to see some good old football. The 2 arena games I've been to, the fans were always rowdy and loved it. Yeah. So I would say yes, but just instead of a couple thousand, it's 100 people. But
definitely love to see it, though.
Yeah,
love to see it. I really hope this league goes far, and I hope that someday these teams are able to pack their stadiums, especially the Panthers.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see where the UFO goes. I hope it has a bright future. There's really not much to talk about this game, guys. Like, you just have to go watch the highlights. You have to tune in on the UFL. You gotta just gotta do your thing, man. You just gotta be a fan of the game and do your thing. But me and Chris really enjoyed our time. We really enjoyed our experience. Like, the best thing I can say is go watch our vlog and then go watch the highlights of the game to truly understand what we're talking about from this podcast. If you haven't already.
One of the best aspects of it, though, you can buy the cheapest seat in the stadium. And move. Like halfway through the first quarter, if you see open seats where you would like to sit, go.
We moved after kickoff.
Right after kickoff, we moved to like the top row of the 50-yard line, and here's a life lesson for you guys that are getting into sports, watching sports, going to games, maturing. Now, if you'll be like me, I don't know if he was like this, but me, I was all about front row, this, that, having like best seat possible. Maturing is realizing that the best seat in the house, or the best seats in the house, are higher up because you can see everything, anything and everything, and that's I think that's the truth. We sat in the very as topmost as we could go without interfering with other people that were already sitting there on the 50-yard line, and it was great. It was perfect. All of our shots were just perfect. Chef's kiss.
Absolutely, and like. The example we're going to give is right after we moved and sat down, I started recording, and we got to see a crazy catch on the other end zone that we wouldn't be able to see from our previous seats, or even get that good shot that we did. Go check out the vlog. I'm serious. Yeah. This vlog is crazy.
All of the shots he got were from our seats. So if you don't believe me when I say this, just go look at back of the vlog and look at the game shots that he got. All of them were from the seats that we moved to.
So awesome.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And that's honestly probably a good place to end the podcast on. I know it's a short episode today. We don't have much to talk about. Like, just go watch the vlog. Go watch the UFL highlights. It really was a good game. And, we talked about the parity a lot at the game of, like, there really is, I mean, how would you describe the parity, Chris? Like, it's, like, balanced?
Yeah, I'd say it's a balanced league. I haven't watched much UFL, but this game on paper should have been a blowout by all means, but it was close. Came down to a game-winning field goal.
Absolutely, and like that was a big question, coming into this because the USFL and the XFL, there was like, oh, we know which one's better from last season. But yeah, guys, we'll end it here.
People like my shirt, by the way.
Oh, so many James Madison fans. What?
Yeah, what was that about? People were just like, "Hey, James Madison, go Dukes," and they were asking me about the coaches, and I'm just like, I'm just wearing this because my girlfriend goes there.
And another problem I had too is someone said, "Ask Chris if he plays football," and it's like
that was at the suites. That was the guy manning the elevator.
Yeah. Yes.
He asked if I was a football player in the suite.
Since I was a senior in high school, staying next to Chris, I've had people come up to Chris and I and ask Chris, "Are you a football player?" And I'm the college football player. No one asked me, like, do I really look that unathletic? Do I really look that nerdy?
Let us know in the comments.
Does Chris really look more like a football player than I'm 6'3", 190. Chris is what, 5'6"?
5'6", 220.
And losing weight. This man's getting even thinner. You should see what he looked like 6 months ago. I mean, this guy's thinning out like crazy.
Appreciate that.
Hey, anything for you, man. Yeah, I mean, Chris is a bodybuilder, but come on, I look athletic. Yeah, guys, we'll end the video here. I'm Caleb Foltz, also known as CF3.
I'm Chris Cortez, also known as Chris Cortez.
Please go check the vlog. Please go check out our social media. Link in description. This week was awesome. In a way, we're speechless. We have no idea what to talk about with this game. Also, Absolutely. UFL makes it hard to find things, like the stats and everything like that. They make it difficult.
It's a new league, so give it time.
We're really excited to see the future of the UFL, and trust me, Detroit will be back for Lions, for Panthers, for Pistons, for Red Wings, for
Tigers.
Baseball.
Maybe.
I don't like baseball.
Maybe.
I don't like baseball.
If the viewers want it.
If the viewers want it, though, I love baseball. So, all right, boys. Stay tuned for more great videos, more great Bench to Mic stuff coming.
Canada's coming. Put it on your calendars.
Canada's coming. Indy 500 might be coming, depending on my schedule.
Depending on circumstances.
Depending on circumstances, on things. There's a lot of parity in my life, I guess you could say. But yeah, we will catch y'all boys in the next one. Peace.
God bless you. Have a good day, night, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Have a good day.